Hey everyone, welcome to Matt's Garage. Today I'm going to be rebuilding the Bronco power steering, Saginaw power steering box out of a 73 Ford Bronco. I think they're all pretty much the same. I got the power steering rebuild kit from Tom's Bronco Parts. I recommend going to Tom's because they got guys in the shop. I met them myself, like Matt. They know everything about these things. They've rebuilt dozens of them. Phil, all those guys. On the previous episode, which I may link to, I may not, I disassembled the box and sandblasted it. Yesterday, I tried out my new FLG4 paint gun from DeVilbiss. It's pretty shiny. Pretty happy with it. All right, I'm going to get started. I'm going to switch the camera angle down to my workbench, and we're going to start putting this thing together. I am not going to show me driving the bearings in. They got to go on the press. You don't need to use a press. I just prefer press. So here's the bearing. Here's the hole. It goes in the hole. Okay? Pretty simple. It's a matter of driving in straight. If you have never driven in a bearing before, maybe this job's too much for you. Maybe. But what do you have to lose, right? If your box is trashed, you got to spend like $450 on a new box, right? But with the investment of a rebuild kit, maybe you'll have yourself a new box for like $60 plus paint and time. Let's get to work. Okay, this is the Tom's Bronco part rebuild kit. It's got the premium seals. What you want to do is the Teflon seals, you want to boil these to loosen them up. Expand them, get them over where they're supposed to be, and then you want to resize them, and I'll show you how to do that. The kit comes with all the O-rings, other seals, and the big snap ring. I drove both the bearings in there. There's two, one that comes in on the top of the housing and one that goes in from the bottom. And now I'm going to install the two seals that go there with the washers. The first thing that's going to go in, thick seal with the spring ring, I don't know what those are called, down and down, okay? I use assembly goo, don't use glue. It basically just dissolves. Bearing driver, 41 millimeter. I highly recommend getting yourself a bearing driver kit. There's going to be some shaking in the camera here. This one's a little big. Let's go with the 44. So it goes in 1 millimeter increments. It goes in nice and smooth there. Now the kit comes with two new washers, so you put one washer in, okay? Then your other new seal goes on top of that. Okay. Then your next washer. See that? And I can see that I've pushed these in too far because there's too much room to the snap ring. So I'm going to have to go ahead and gently pull those up until this is right below the snap ring groove. Don't do what I did, kiddos. Okay, now that I screwed that up, the best way to do it is to assemble it all, get it into place as one. Because otherwise it's really hard to judge how much room you have till you get to the snap ring. And that is good to go. Next, we're going to start doing the O-rings and stuff. They're all going to be very dry and brittle. Sometimes you got to cut these out to get them out. Okay. Under this, there's another O-ring. So you got to dig that out too. Okay. So those are out. So this one, some goo on there. Okay, that's in there. Now this feels like it's Teflon also, so I'm going to boil this one as well. I'm going to put that to the side. Now, there's this thing. The Tom's kit does not come with this bearing, okay, because it normally doesn't go bad. So don't worry if your kit did not come with that bearing. The open end goes down into the barrel here. Probably could use a bearing driver on that one. 36, pretty good. Okay, that's in there pretty deep. And this one goes with the put the bevel up actually, and then the snap ring goes on top of those. And there's a new snap ring with this kit here. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in. Okay, once again, I drove that in too far, so you know, try to do things the easy way, not the Matt's Garage way. Okay, snap rings in, so that's set. Now for this, there's an assembly. I already cleaned it last night. There's a seal, first of all. And which one is it? I think it's this one. I want to keep these in order. Goes bearing retainer, or bearing race, Torrington bearing, like that. This is just a very thin sheet metal retainer, so that goes on there, and then might need a little bit of persuasion. That's not going anywhere. Okay. So, what's in there? You want to lube that seal up pretty good. Okay. So this is the part that goes that way. Okay. So that, put that away. Now for this part. This has a seal somewhere. Right there. See that seal? There's a seal there, and these are your 3 Teflon seals. So time to go get the boiling water. Pour it in. You got the 3 Teflon seals and purple Urple. Hopefully it doesn't fog up the lens. Okay, while those are cooking in there, I want to take out the old Teflon seals. I push till there's a bump, and then I try to wedge this underneath. It takes some practice, I'm not going to lie. Okay, see, I get that up, and then I slide this underneath. Okay, there you go. Now I've got a grip. Pull this. Not very malleable. Then I pull out the O-ring underneath. So what I ended up doing for those is just grabbing 2 universal tiny chisels, also known as precision screwdrivers, and squeezing till I got a loop. Then I'll put pressure on it, slide under, and pop it off. And it started getting a little easier after that. So this goes there. Okay, no, that looks a little too big for that. Wonder if I put the wrong one on somewhere else. Well, these I know are for this, so I'm gonna do this while I think about that one. These go under the Teflon seals. Now I've got the 3 in there. Let's see if my cooked Teflon is ready to go. So these should be a little stretchier now. Okay, just a little stretchier though, so be super careful. Okay, so that first one's on. That's good. Don't reach into the boiling water. You can kind of do this gently. Okay. Luckily it's Teflon, so it's got a lot of grip. Okay, those 3 are in. This big purple one. That's in. This I can't do right now. This is later. This is later. Alright, break time. If you trash your box while you're doing this, Tom's is coming out with a little bit of a surprise here towards the end of the year. They were testing some prototypes of it, and it might solve your steering box problems. So, keep that in mind. Now it's kind of time to start assembling this stuff. This is this O-ring. Goes around here like that. If at first you don't succeed, quit. Everyone else does. Oh, right. I remember seeing this somewhere. So this has to slip over like that. See that? So you have to kind of put it in an angle, slip it over like that. That's the only way it's going to fit in. Then you line up the marks. Of course, you got the same problem with the O-ring getting pinched there. So be gentle. That is now in there. And let me tell you, that was about as fun as it looked. Do I have any recollection of how I took these off? I think like this. Okay, and then this goes up against here. Through the dust shield. And there you go. So that's your worm gear assembly. Now, for the fun part. I have to get this in here without any of the balls falling out. And there's a trick to it. Now this is where you want to start putting the kids to bed because you're going to be using a lot of curse words, right? What I'm doing is I'm taking a 1/2 inch socket and I'm putting it into the cavity. The idea is that these balls, these 34 balls, alternating chrome and like not chrome, need to line all inside this channel, all right, that the worm gear goes in. They fall out is the bottom line. So you got to have a lot of patience and you got to go slow to go fast. Now I'm going to use grease. I'm going to call out what I'm putting in so I don't forget. Chrome, not chrome. Chrome, not chrome. Chrome. No! Okay, stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. When you do that, you got to start over because you got to count your balls, make sure you have them all. Chrome, not chrome. Of course, now I can't remember, was this last one chrome or not chrome? It's hard to tell unless it's next to one. Even when it is next to one, it's hard to tell. So once they're as far as they'll go, you got to take your casing here. This is tricky as heck. You got to fill it up with balls. Not chrome, chrome, not chrome. Put the other half on, put it in there. Take the retainer, screw it on. Once this is screwed on, we can start assembling the housing. It's not over yet. One ball drops out of that thing. We gotta do that all over again. Just gotta get past that O-ring. And I ruined it. So that is not what we want. Wow, look at that. It actually completely like shaved that O-ring off. So something went terribly wrong there. But that's okay. It's just parts, man. I'm just going to order a new one of these and cover this up and finish it when I get back from the East Coast. Voila, I'm back from the East Coast. I got my new purple Urple. I'm going to go boil it for 5 minutes on the stove this time and then bring it out. We'll keep going. Okay, now that that's boiled, amazingly, over the last 3 weeks, my bowels stayed in place, so that's good. Get that just over the lip. There you go. Quick tip, this is how you resize Teflon seals once you get them in a position. You need to take any electrical tape at all. This is the sticky side. You don't want to put the sticky side on. This is the not sticky side. You want to put the not sticky side on. It sticks to itself, right? And then once you got that, you can go around and really tightly, just by pulling like this, you can get some really good pressure on that ring. You can leave that for like a few days, and that'll eventually compress that ring. I don't have that time. Now that's on there tight. I'm going to leave it for, the longer the better. Over 24 hours would be great. I want to get this done tonight, so I'm going to try to do it within an hour. It's been probably about 3-4 hours. Okay, that does look much better, so let's see if we can get her going here. She's in. She is in there, guys. Boom! Great! Now that that's in there, it's all the way in there, so now I can tighten this up. I got a mark here and a marker there, and now they're pretty much aligned. Let me just get them dead on. Now I didn't mark this one. I wish I had, but I didn't, so, tough turkey. That seems reasonably tight. Okay, so that's there. Now I think you can see there's 3 teeth in there, so I'm moving this left because the sector shaft, see the 3 teeth here? They need to slide in line. Now I've taped, it says put one layer of tape, blue tape, on this sector shaft. And the reason is if you go thicker than that, it'll interfere with the bearings that are in this that you put in. I got this, which goes over like this, okay? And these tabs bend over just like that. The way I've been shown is you put this on here like this. Okay, and you see when you turn, this is stationary, right? So when you turn this screw, it's pulling, it's basically pulling this shaft up and down inside there, and that's what's closing this angle cut tolerance down on that the 3 teeth in there. So that's why if you're loose, they'll say tighten it a 1/16 of a turn, because even a 1/16 of a turn on this pulls this up by a lot of tolerance in machine world. So 2 bearings. This is a long shaft because it's a Bronco box, so there's 2 places where the bearings are right there and there. I got witness marks there. A little worried about that, but that's okay. And this is where the seals go through, and this keeps, you know, the teeth from getting damaged or from damaging everything else. Now, by turning this, it should suck that cap in there, I think. Oh, hello, hey, hello. Don't be a schmink. Wow, this is like a whole new level of suck. So stupid too, it's like the last thing I gotta do. You know what I just noticed, guys? See that? Chunk of tape missing. It's in the bearings. Got to come out. So I had the thing pretty much done. You saw the whole process. I'm going to take the sector shaft out, dig out the pieces of tape that got stuck in there, press the sector shaft back in, which hopefully you guys won't have to do if you try this. Let me take my Saturday night gloves off here. As I was getting into it, I was like, this is going in too hard. The sector shaft should not slide through the shaft. I'm looking at the shaft hole right now. It should not slide through there so hard. So I thought maybe the bearings were off center, but they were like that when I took it off. So then I thought maybe the housing's bent. And then I started putting the sector shaft in and putting it in the other way. And I thought, you know, maybe the sector shaft's bent. Check this out. Okay, I'm purposefully underexposing this shot. So this is sitting on a flat surface, relatively flat. And watch as I twist it. You see that light? Do you see that? You see that? And I've got a crooked sector shaft. My sector shaft got crooked. So now that I know my sector shaft is bent, I got to order another one. Tom's Bronco parts. Sector shaft. $300, add to cart. Pitman arm, add to cart. Oh yeah, good thinking. Thanks, Tom. And check out. There you have it, folks. Sometimes it goes that way. So this is part 1. I'm gonna, I ordered the sector shaft and stuff from Tom's Bronco parts. That'll be here. Those guys are pretty quick about shipping. So probably next weekend. I'll get that and put it in. Hopefully it'll go in a lot easier than this crooked one. I try to make the shortest possible power steering rebuild video on the internet. Hopefully you guys found this useful. I did all the parts right. I just had a broken shaft. Bent and broken shaft. Next time, Matt's Garage.